So I'm pretty excited for the rest of the weekend, especially based on how day one went.
10 toes down, I'm around with the gang. My whole life I've been doing my thing. Get that money, ain't no thing. Anything I do for the gang. 10 toes down, I'm around with the gang. My whole life I've been doing my thing. Get that money, ain't no thing. Anything I do for the gang. Anything I do.
Unable or prefer not to sit in the exit row.
All right, we are in Madison. I just spent all night flying. I worked yesterday, flew overnight to Chicago, and now I'm arriving in Madison. Here is that sign that everyone shows on their Instagram when they arrive. I'll just show it right now as I walk to baggage claim. They took my carry-on bag because I bought a very cheap plane ticket, so I couldn't even take my little carry-on bag with me onto the plane. But we are here. We are in Madison. I missed the 40-minute bike, but I did watch it. And Emma Lawson and Yona Koski taking the win. I don't think either of those are particularly surprising winners, but I think it's great starts for both of them, especially 18-year-old Emma Lawson, who really impressed a lot of us last year, and I think this year as well. It's crazy to be back in Madison and know it's my last time here. I actually lived and worked here for a year and also went to the games that year, and I've been back a bunch since for the CrossFit Games. So a little bit sad for this to be the last time in Madison for the games. I don't know if I'll come to Madison again, but excited to get started, to get over to the Alliant Energy Center, and to do this thing again. I have to get my bag, which we're waiting for here. When I went to get my lift, it appears the last place I lifted was the Alliant Energy Center, so sounds about right. Here we are, one last time. Gotta go inside and grab my credential in there.
And for the final time, the fittest on earth will be crowned at the Alliant Energy Center.
All right, we made it. We are inside, and you know what I really need? I really need one of these Jocko Go's over here. Is it my favorite? Not necessarily. I don't like it better than Monster, which is what we had here last year, but I slept 3 hours on a plane, so I just need caffeine. Hi. This sour apple, surprisingly not very bad. Now to North Park for event 2 for the individual women. All right.
She doesn't even look tired.
We have to go! All right, second women's event is done. Laurel Horvath took the win on that pig flip event, and let me tell you, when she got up to the pig, it looked like her pig wasn't weighted. I'm sure it was. But the way that she handled that pig compared to all the other athletes, insane. It's what made the difference for Olivia Kerstetter in the heat before, and that was really what it came down to in the final heat as well. So we'll see if it works out that way for the men.
Okay, with another big chunks of reps. Here we go, ladies and Khrennikov crossing that flag end zone with the goal.
Day one, event win. After the long bike event this morning, how are you feeling right now?
Отлично, все мои любимые движения, носки, подтягивания, мячи. Мячи очень сложно дались, на удивление. Я думаю, из-за жары. Так обычно, я вообще думал бросать unbroken, но бросал по 10. Мне так стыдно было внутри. Но, в принципе, нормально.
It's an awesome event. All of his favorite movements. He was really hard on the wall balls. He was a little embarrassed. He broke them up so much, so he apologizes for that. It's too hot, I guess that's why. He loves this workout. It was awesome.
What was it like going back and forth with Lazar? He was looking at you, and then you were able to edge him out ultimately.
Ну да, было тяжело, конечно, было тяжело, но я в голове подумал, останется 3, я потерплю, не буду останавливаться. Если он тоже потерпит, ну, кто выиграет, тот выиграет, но он немножко сдался, и я вышел вперед, так что...
It was an awesome race. He loved competing back to back with Lazar. He was thinking when he gets like 3 left, he's gonna go pedal to the metal. So it's really good that Lazar kind of gave up. But so he just kept on flipping it. So it was awesome.
Can go. Thank you guys.
Good job.
Thank you.
This is the absolute worst place to do this because I have a window right behind me, but it doesn't look too bad. It is so freaking hot. My camera was overheating. I have an interview with Roman, but I don't know if it's gonna work depending on if the camera picked it up with the overheating. But that was, and I've got food. I just waited for food. That was an interesting event because we had Saxon or Spencer Panchek, win the first heat, and then Roman win the second heat, who are two totally different athletes, but I think they capitalized on different things. When you have Spencer being a smaller athlete, really using that gymnastics to get ahead, and then you've got Roman, who's just like big, strong, able to move the pig, and also just like a beast on the wall balls. He said that he felt embarrassed by how he broke up the wall balls, but he didn't break them up much. I remember watching him and I was like, he looks like he's barely even trying. I was surprised he even broke it up because it looked so easy. And he won the event, so I don't think he should be embarrassed by how much he broke up the wall balls. Anyway, inside for the rest of the day, and that's gonna be important because it is so hot.
Those L's and I took that blame. All money in, we ain't copping no change. Feel like Ice Cube, cause a dead good day. Don't need 3 whips, don't need no race. I'ma keep it simple in the Chevy I skate. Thank the Lord every time I wait. Lace my shoes and I get to that cake. Toes down, I'ma ride with the gang. engine. Head up in the clouds when I levitate. We don't spit game, we just educate. 10-10-80, had a paper straight. Couldn't get it back then, so I had to wait. Now the money come to me, so I don't have to chase. I don't gotta flash none, I don't gotta fake darling. We not practicing, we falling. And heads up, I'm coming. This is all we ever wanted. Yeah. Go and stack it by the hundreds.
So let's dig into the leaderboard. And usually I do these wrap-ups in my hotel room, but I am staying in an RV this year. I actually haven't even been out there yet, so I will show you the RV setup tomorrow. So make sure you hit that subscribe button so you can watch tomorrow's video too with the RV. But today, I decided I'm just gonna wrap this all up here at the venue. I flew in this morning, landed, got here, have been here all day. It's like 6:30 now, so figured I would just wrap this up real quick here in front of this CrossFit sign behind me here. Let's get into the leaderboard, and I think the big thing here is that it's pretty much anyone's game everywhere. Like usually we have someone coming in that you expect to dominate, and we do have a couple people that we'd expect to dominate, but we haven't seen them do well yet this year. And it's I think it's gonna be a really, really interesting CrossFit Games. So I'm pretty excited for the rest of the weekend, especially based on how day one went. So on the women's side of the leaderboard, we have Alexis Raptis in first, and I would have never guessed that going into the day. And really the top three are all kind of unexpected. In second, we have Emily Rolfe, and she had to pull out last year after the first event because she had a blood clot in her arm and needed emergency surgery. So the fact that she's sitting in second place after day one, that's pretty significant. That's a great comeback. And in third, we have Ariel Lowen, who has looked good at her semifinal, almost won her semifinal, sort of lost on the last event there, but doing really well here. Emma Lawson, she came into the day winning her first event with that biking event, that 40 minutes of biking. I didn't get any video of that, but I was still on the plane. But she ended up winning that event, and it was her first event win as an 18-year-old, and now sitting in fourth. She did wear that leader jersey for the second event today, so some big things for Emma Lawson. And in fifth, we have Annie Thorsdottir, so someone that a lot of people were keeping their eyes on, someone that people thought could possibly win the games this year, in a fifth place position now. And really, the point spread is fairly close, and with so many more events to come, an unknown number of events to come, but likely at least 9, there could be a lot of shaking up on this leaderboard. This is very early. In 6th, Bethany Flores, making her way back to the games after she had an injury last year and was sick the year prior to that. So big year for her. And in 7th, Laura Horvath, the person that most people were picking to win the games this year. And she looked really good in the first event. On the ride event, the 40-minute ride, she got past the gate where they blocked people off where they couldn't finish an additional round. So she got past that. She was one of the athletes got to do the additional round. And then she finished first in the pig chipper, handling that pig like it was nothing, literally like it was nothing. And her real issue, and the reason that she's in 7th and not higher, is because of the inverted medley. And I watched her as she sat down before taking some attempts on the freestanding handstand push-up. So just not her specialty. We know handstand push-ups are not her best movement. She took a 27th place finish in that. Not great, but 7th is still very much within striking distance, not just the podium, but still within first place. So she's in a good spot, and if that's the worst handstand push-up event she has, and there's no other handstand push-up event, it's fine. It's damage control. And let's round out the top 10. In 8th, we have Paige Powers, who I've been impressed with pretty much all season. She won Wadapalooza and has been looking better and better as she's gotten closer to the games. 9th, we have Katrin Davidsdottir, who didn't qualify last year for the games, switched to HWPO, and looks pretty good. She looked great at semis, and she was leading on the ride event actually near the beginning, fell back a little bit, but ended up finishing 4th in that. Her poor event so far is the pig chipper, where she finished 34th, but the inverted medley she got 6th. So she got a 4th, 34th, and a 6th, which still keeps in the top 10 in a pretty good position. And in 10th, we have Jamie Simmons. 11th, we actually have the winner of that inverted medley, and that is Danielle Brandon. Now, some names that are a little bit lower that we might expect to be higher. Gabby Magala, she's in 16th. She struggled with that inverted medley as well. Then Olivia Kerstetter, not that we'd expect her to be higher, but she's in 17th, which is great for her first season. And as a 17-year-old, she won her heat for that pig workout. So looking really good for her first year as an individual. Sydney Wells is in 20th. That's not bad. Emma Carey, she is in 21st, which is not where many people expected her. People were predicting her to possibly be on the podium or contending for it. While she still could, she took a dead last finish in the ride. She fell. She was hit, sort of involved in a collision on the bike, and after that she was just behind the pack for the entire thing and ended up finishing in 40th. Did well in the pig chipper, 4th, and then okay in the inverted medley in a 17th place position. Amanda Barnhart, 25th. We'd probably expect her to be a little bit higher. Other than that, looking at the rest of the women that are down the leaderboard, I think they're mostly people we expected to be in the bottom half. I think a lot of the women that we'd expect to do well are all within the range of still winning the games or podiuming. So that's interesting, and it'll be close. I'm very impressed with Alexis Raptis, though, because while I thought she'd be top 10 for her second year in a row, I definitely didn't think she'd be wearing the leader jersey for multiple events. She wore it going into the inverted medley, and she'll wear it tomorrow morning. Going over to the men, and this is where things get a little bit crazy, because with the women, we don't really have an incumbent this year, if you want to use that term. Tia Claire Toomey, who's won the games the last 6 years, is not competing. She had a baby, so everything was wide open, and it's interesting to watch it play out, but nothing is really shocking there. On the men's side, Justin Medeiros has won the last 2 years. His first year at the games, he came in 3rd, and this year, not doing as well. And to me, that's kind of exciting. Other people might be disappointed, but I think it's just awesome to have things be a little bit different and crazy and be a little bit unsure what's going to happen. So going into the inverted medley event 3, Justin was in 36th. He, I believe, is in 22nd right now. We'll get to him, but 36th was shocking. I mean, there's only 40 athletes, and this is the man who won the games last year. He had 2 of his worst finishes at the CrossFit Games ever. I felt like Justin was vulnerable going into this games, and that is confirmed in the first day. But let's start with the top of the leaderboard. So at the top, we have Roman Khrennikov in 1st, and I was super high on Roman after last year. I felt like he didn't perform as well at semifinals as we thought he would, and I sort of readjusted my expectations based on that. But looking at him today, a 4th, a 1st, and a 5th, those are fantastic finishes. If he continues with that, it'll be hard for anyone to catch him. He has a 21-point lead over 2nd right now. That's not huge, but again, if he continues with finishes like that, just it's hard to beat that. In 2nd, we have Jay Crouch, which is definitely a surprise. Roman being in 1st, I wasn't necessarily picking him to win 1st, but to be on the podium is not surprising for Roman. Jay, it's a little bit surprising where Jay is. And in 3rd, we have Spencer Panchik, who is sitting higher than any of the Panchik brothers have finished. Now, we're only in day 1, right? So he likely won't be in the exact same spot at the end of the weekend, but pretty cool to see Spencer Panchik, who I feel like is kind of the sometimes forgotten Panchik, in 3rd place and doing really well to start off the weekend. In 4th, we have Moritz Fiebig. 5th, Samuel Cornier, who everyone had a lot of questions about because he went team last year and is making his way back into the individuals, but, you know, 5th is good. He's doing well. 6th, Brent Fikowski. I was watching him in the last event. That was definitely his worst event of the day. He had a 10th on the ride event, 3rd on the pig chipper, and then a 23rd on the inverted medley. He seemed like he was a little bit frustrated with how that was going. The second round of the freestanding handstand push-ups seemed to get him a bit. But 6th is still a great position. Khrennikov won the first event, and he wore the leader jersey for the second event, but came in 26th in that, which wasn't ideal, but then bounced back with an 11th in the inverted medley. Could be a good year for Khrennikov. Pat Vellner, he did the thing he tends to do, which is starting out slow with a poor finish. It's happened before. It happened again. He got a 27th place finish on the ride, but then had 2 6th place finishes on the pig chipper and inverted medley. Those are 2 really solid finishes, and making his way up the leaderboard. Will be in the top 10 to start day 2, and will be in the top heat. Dallin Pepper is in 9th, which I think is pretty good for him, because that inverted medley is not ideal for a big guy, and he's a bigger guy, so look out for Dallin, because there's some bigger events coming, like the clean and jerk, so he can make a move to continue to go up the leaderboard. And in 10th, someone that we should expect to be in the top 10, even though he didn't do well at his semifinals, that is Bjorkman Carl Gudmundsson, BKG. He has been in the top 10 every year he's been at the games, except for the first year he was here. And he's been here 10 years. So the last 9 seasons, he's been in the top 10 at the games. So you kind of have to expect BKG to be in the top 10. And there he is in 10th place. Checking out some other people who are big names. Chandler Smith is in 12th. I think that's a really good place for him to be at this point in the weekend. Jeff Adler in 13th. I think people are probably a little bit disappointed with that, but he got a 2nd place finish in the first event. That pig chipper was not great for him with the 25th, and then a 15th in inverted medley. I think that there is a lot left for him. Definitely think we're likely to see him make his way into the top 10 tomorrow, day 2. We'll see. James Sprague doing awesome. He's currently in 14th. Noah Olson in 16th, which is decent. I mean, it would make the cuts at this point. Yellow Hoste is in 17th, which is someone I feel like we all had a bunch of questions about. He kind of was hit or bust at semis, having a bunch of wins and not some great finishes, but doing pretty good here. 6th, then a 30th, which is kind of a bust, but then a 21st. So it'll be interesting to see how the rest of his weekend plays out. Luke Parker in 19th, Colton Mertens in 20th. And then as we go down, we have Justin Medeiros in 22nd, and that is because he has that 29th finish in ride. He didn't make that blockade, and he didn't get to do an extra round, and then a 37th in the pig chipper. So there's only 39 male athletes. It's a pretty bad finish. And then a 2nd in inverted medley. He definitely looked good on that event. He came out hot. He came out like he was trying to make up points, and the only person that beat him was Cole Grayshaber, so pretty good finish on that event. He was in 36th prior to the inverted medley, so he made up a ton of points, moving 14 spots on the leaderboard. Definitely plenty of room for him to make his way back into the top 10. Maybe even better than that, but it's not a great start for the reigning champ. Kind of concerning. And then we got Cole Sager in 29th. Jason Hopper didn't look great, especially on that inverted medley. He is in 30th, and he finished 38th in the inverted medley. And Sam Quant in 35th. That's another surprising one. So the men's side right now, to me, seems a little bit more surprising than the women. While I think the women's side has a more surprising first place athlete, being Alexis Raptis, versus the men's with Roman Khrennikov, I think the rest of the leaderboard makes sense, and all the athletes that you'd expect to be in the mix are in the mix. Where on the men's side, we have some athletes that you think would be in the top 20, Justin Medeiros, and isn't. So the men's, I think, is a little bit more crazy, although Roman being in first, not crazy, and I think a lot of people would love it if Roman won. I think he won over a lot of fans last year, so it'll be interesting to see how he does the rest of the weekend. I know he says he's very focused, and having his family here in the States with him instead of back in Russia has made a big difference for him. So maybe we're gonna see that. I was surprised at semis that he didn't do as well as I expected, but here we go, right? This is the games, and this is where it matters. And if he wins the games, no one's gonna remember what place he came in at semis, just that he qualified and then he won the games. So it's going to be an exciting weekend. We're just getting started. I'm pretty excited by the leaderboard right now. Let's take a look at the teams. I didn't get any of the teams today, but we'll just take a glance at them to see what's up. So over on the team side, kind of another surprise, because I think the heavy favorite was CrossFit East Nashville Proven. They have the two women who won with Mayhem just last year. So I think that is a little bit surprising. They're currently in third. So we've got a bunch of leaderboards that are just kind of interesting right now, and I'm excited to see how they all play out. I apologize, there's a baby crying right now, but I don't know where else to go. So we're just gonna rock and roll through this. So in first, CrossFit Invictus, which is definitely a team that people had their eyes on and looks good right now. The points are really close though. So you got Invictus in first, CrossFit Oslo Navy Blue, who was also a podium team last year, in second, and then CrossFit East Nashville Proven in third. And all of those teams are less than 10 points apart from each other. So this will probably be our race. If you had to ask me right now, I could see all these three teams being on the podium, and they're closer together than the fourth place team is to the top three. So we got CrossFit Invictus with 176, Oslo Navy Blue with 173, and East Nashville Proven with 167. Then we drop down 9 points to CrossFit OBA and No Shortcuts CrossFit, which are tied in fourth and fifth place. I think the team competition is going to be pretty interesting. I hope to catch some of that for all of you tomorrow. So again, another thing to make sure you come back for, because there'll be more going on with the teams. I missed it with it being at the same time as some of the individual stuff and while I was traveling. But tomorrow we will catch some of the teams, fingers crossed. And I'm excited for the rest of the weekend. I'm excited to show you the RV camp tomorrow too, and to see how much this leaderboard changes tomorrow. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you like it, subscribe, come back tomorrow because there's gonna be more stuff for sure, including, like I said, RV, and hopefully catch some of those team athletes and some more athlete interviews. You heard from Roman today. Hopefully I'll be able to find some more people tomorrow. All right, see you next one.